Before I take any questions, I'll address a couple misses that we had. Obviously, last game, went into the game really confident with our operation. It had been clean before we had started. The past few weeks, there was a level of continuity and comfort. Jude had been doing a nice job kicking, did a nice job in pregame. But ultimately, we don't have 4 downs to get it right, and those misses are on me. So I'm going to put that on me. We got to be better. These games are, I've said this before, but are decided on a score differential of 6 points or less over 50% of these games. And when you don't execute on 4th down, whatever unit it is, especially when it comes to points, that hurts us. So that's my fault. We got to be better. I got to be better, and we'll move forward.
When you went back and looked at him, what did you see? The 2 misses I'm talking about in particular.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, there's so many things that you could point to of why it went a certain way, all that. The ball was down on the spot. We got to be able to execute on a PAT. There's obviously nuances from a fundamental standpoint, whether somebody plants too deep and they decide to push the ball, whether the operation is too fast. Those are all things that deal with me that I got to make sure that is clean, especially in those situations, and really any situation. Because, again, like I've said before, whenever we send out our field goal unit, whether it be a field goal, a PAT, the expectation is we come out with points. And when we don't come out with points, that's a reflection of me, and I got to be better.
You, with Graham's history of getting hurt now, and he's older, either before the game or right at the start of the game, will you push for you guys to have Koo active as insurance, like on a game day elevation from the practice squad?
So we're going to have lots of discussions as coaches as this week progresses. They obviously opened up Graham's window, did a nice job kicking yesterday. We're going to explore every option and giving our team the best opportunity to win the football game. And every week is unique, so we'll exhaust every option.
Ghobrial, I'm sure you've gone into seasons and game to game where you're not even thinking of that. You would say to us, if we asked you the idea of having an insurance kicker on game day, you'd look at us and you go, why? Well, why would we go into a game thinking a guy would get hurt? The fact that it's happened to you guys on several occasions, early in the game and in warm-ups, how do you avoid thinking like that when you have these conversations with the coaches and the trainers, the idea of we don't want that to happen again? So how do you avoid it since it's already happened?
Yeah. No, honestly, it's that answer. It's you got to have really educated discussions amongst coaches, amongst trainers, that everybody has conviction going into the game that he's going to give us the best opportunity to win the game and sustain and stay healthy. Have obviously had some unfortunate luck the past few years when it came to that. So again, we got to explore every option, and on Saturday we'll have a better idea of what that plan is. But obviously whatever we decide to do, we'll have ultimate confidence in. The one thing I'll say about these players, whether they be kickers, punters, snappers, core players, offense players, defense players in the kicking game, these players pour so much into the game. They pour so much, both from a physical standpoint, from emotional standpoint, the mindset. People are away from their families, that when these players pour so much into it, the confidence then stems from that. They don't shortchange the process. So that's everybody involved in this organization, and that's something that we'll obviously stay connected to as a football team.
Is it possible, though, to trust Graham, to go in convicted that Graham is going to stay healthy when some of these ailments have come up, like soft tissue issues before games?
Yeah, you just have to make sure that he's at full health and he's kicking the ball well. And those are things that, going into the week that you'll never jeopardize if somebody is somewhat hurt or is, still like coming back, all that stuff. You're gonna look at where he is right now. You're gonna put a lot of educated opinion based off of the medical staff and, talk obviously as coaches and, move forward from that. And with that, you could have confidence.
During weeks when you have kicking competitions, like when you were deciding between, let's say, Koo and Jude in recent weeks, how many field goals do they take in a practice week like that? Like, what does a competition look like?
Yeah, so it varies obviously depending on week to week, what day you're playing, Thursday to Sunday to Monday, all those things kind of vary. Traditionally, kickers kick 2 times a week. And in that, whether they kick a Wednesday, Thursday, or whether they kick a Wednesday, Friday, you're usually aiming to have anywhere between 20 to 45 balls. That's been pretty consistent with all the kickers that I've been around at this level. Per kicking workout. So it's you obviously don't want to exhaust them on a practice day, but they got to get their good work in. So there's a high volume of kicking snaps, but not too much to where their leg gets exhausted. And then you basically paint the field. So when I say paint the field, I'm saying you start off with some bunny field goals that are inside the 10-yard line. Then you get to a PAT, whether that ball be on the middle of the field, whether it be on the hash, depending on kicker. Then you start to get it a little bit longer, whether that be a 50-yard field goal, a 55-yard field goal. You challenge them in an end-to-half, end-of-game situation. You challenge them to do those kicks at times with time expiring. So you try and give them every situation possible, and obviously keep them healthy, and then you just mix it up throughout the week.
Is Koo taking kicks in practice this week, even with Graham back?
Yeah.
How much work is he doing?
Yeah, no, consistent enough with having success on Sunday. We got to get everybody that's healthy ready, and ultimately we want to give each of those guys an opportunity to excel come Sunday, to where if their number is called, they feel confident in their ability. The great thing is, you have two veterans that have seen it all, have been around the game for a long time, and they flourish with opportunity to compete and to try and be the best versions of themselves.
You guys went with Jude, and obviously depending on Graham is able to go this week, but what gives you confidence in Koo if you have to go with him this week?
Yeah, he's been here for the past few weeks, has gotten more comfortable with the operation of Jamie and Casey, understands how we do things here, has kind of worked on some nuances coming from Atlanta that would allow him to have more sustained and consistent success. Obviously, Koo has been has had really good years in the National Football League. So, at times of that, like when you come into a new building, learning the new operation may take some time, and honing in on your craft is also another avenue that a kicker coming into a new building has to do. I think he's in a good place mentally and in kicking form.
Mike, do you have any regrets about maybe putting too much on Jude's plate for what he was able to handle?
Whoever we put out there, I always have confidence in them. And again, it goes back to the preparation, execution in practice, the execution in games prior, that every decision made is made with tons of information, that's gathered, and whoever we put out there, I have confidence in.
How much has Gano been able to do the last couple of weeks as he kind of built up here?
Yeah, I can only speak to yesterday because of the designated to return, and he did a nice job yesterday on what would constitute a normal Wednesday for him, and did a good job with his kicks.
With his program, does a kicker when they're injured go kick on the side? Because obviously they can't kick with you, right?
Yeah.
But did they go kick on their side and their own as they build up? Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, honestly, I can't speak to the acclimation process when they're working with the trainers, but all those things are involved into getting a player ready to be designated for return. When a player is designated for return, they got to show the medical staff that they have the ability to factor in that week.
With Graham, we know physically is obviously what you're watching this week, but I'm curious mentally, emotionally. I mean, this hasn't been, he's had some ups and downs the last couple of years that, haven't been easy, especially at the beginning of this season. Going to get the opportunity to talk to him at some point, but from your perspective, someone who knows him, how hard is that for a veteran kicker who knows how good he can be, and then to have some of the things that have happened? I mean, are you watching for his confidence, making sure that he's seeing things the way he needs to see it, in addition to all the physical attributes that he needs to have to perform for you guys?
Yeah, I think that all culminates to a good kicker in this league is both the physical ability to do it and the confidence to do it. And I think that's with any position. And, Graham is a guy that's had success before he got hurt for us. I think what gives him confidence is when he sees the ball go through the uprights and be like, okay, that's my A ball, and he did a nice job yesterday. So, evaluating the confidence level of him, I got tons of confidence in him. He's kicking well, and we'll obviously see as the week progresses who gives us the best opportunity to go in.